Now, Ernest Kofi Addo from Parliament is reporting the Minority Caucus in Parliament has called on President John Dramani Mahama to immediately remove Samuel Okudzeto as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, accusing him of reckless diplomacy that has plunged the country into an international crisis with severe economic consequences. Addressing a press conference in Parliament yesterday, the Minorities Foreign Affairs Committee, through the MP for Bosomefreho and Deputy Ranking Member Asare Miniye, said Ghana's inclusion on the United States of 75 countries facing an indefinite pause in immigrant visa processing was a direct result of what it describes as the minister's immature, confrontational, and diplomatically illiterate conduct. Now, the minority noted that on January 13, 2026, the U.S. Department of State announced the visa pause, a decision which it said would have devastating implications for thousands of Ghanaian families and professionals seeking lawful permanent residence in the United States. According to the minority, the development undermines family reunification efforts and disrupts the plans of skilled workers who had complied fully with U.S. immigration requirements. Beyond the social impact, the minority warns of grave economic consequences. It said Ghana receives between $3.7 billion and $6.6 billion annually in diaspora remittances, with the United States accounting for the largest share, estimated at between $1.5 billion and $2.5 billion each year. Now, the caucus argues that freezing immigrant visa processing threatens this vital economic lifeline, warning that today's visa restrictions could translate into tomorrow's decline in remittances, worsening the hardship of families and communities across the country. The minority laid the blame squarely at the feet of Mr. Blakwa, accusing him of choosing megaphone diplomacy over quiet professional engagement. It cited what it called a pattern of public confrontation with key partners, including the United States and Israel, rather than the use of established diplomatic channels to resolve technical issues around migration, deportation, and consular cooperation. As evidence, the caucus pointed to the December 2025 incident involving the deportation of Ghanaians from Israel, after which the foreign minister ordered the immediate deportation of Israel nationals from Accra and publicly announced a policy of reciprocal deportations. The minority described this as petulant showmanship that violated basic diplomatic norms and portrayed Ghana as unpredictable and untrustworthy. He further accused the minister of failing to anticipate the policy direction of the current U.S. administration, despite previous instances where visa sanctions had been used against Ghana. And according to the minority, a competent foreign affairs minister should have engaged in early warning analysis, scenario planning, and quiet negotiations to prevent the country's inclusion on the list. The caucus also criticized what it calls a failure to leverage Ghana's strong relations with the European Union to lobby Washington, arguing that recent foreign policy posturing had alienated key allies and made coordinated support impossible. In addition to calling Mr. Blakwa's removal, the minority demanded immediate public accountability from the Foreign Affairs Minister, including full disclosure of communications with the United States over the past 18 months, and a clear strategy for securing Ghana's removal from the visa list. And it also wants an establishment of high-level technical working group with U.S. authorities, the withdrawal of the tit-for-tat deportation policy with Israel, and appointment of a special envoy to handle diaspora and migration affairs. Now, okay, so do they have a case?
Oh, why are you coming to me?
Oh, well. No, it's not. It's a discussion. He's a member of the LPP. All right,
but he can also talk about it.
So Alfred has been calling himself we. The whole morning. Continue with your we.
We as in LPP.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Why do we?
So he doesn't want to be on an attacking mood this morning.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. No, that's what you are doing now.
No, but Alfred.
Masa, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I have read the statement several times over.
Okay.
And I listened to you when we were reading it from the newspaper.
Right.
I don't understand it. Okay? And that is why I think that this discussion will be held if Alfred will shed more light on it. What are they complaining about? Because I don't get it. So if Alfred will shed a little more light on what they are complaining about, then we can have a discussion.
Alfred, those
because as it is, it's just verbiage.
Those are very strong words that you use against a foreign minister. I mean, justify the use of those. When I say you, not as a minority, I mean that he's immature, he's not diplomatic, he's incompetent. I mean, these are very, very serious adjectives. So tell us why he deserves all these adjectives.
They stated it in their press conference.
Okay.
They stated everything they
You can
wanted
shed
to.
some more light.
They've told us what is wrong and what they feel is not right.
Okay.
I would add a little that we all know that Trump is in a mode that no one can set or reset. So whatever you do, if he decides that today, I don't want to see any Ghanaian in the US, he can push everything, helter-skelter, and doesn't listen to anybody. I would say that sometimes in some of these things, yes, you can come out with it, but there should be some talks behind closed doors. He's a member, the person is a member, or my brother is a member of the minority, the foreign affairs team. They have their own issues there, I know. And I know that some of these things bring these things out. So we should sit down and look at this thing well. Everybody learns on the job as a minister. If you tell me the truth, if you ask me, everybody learns on the job. When you go there, immediately you will not get everything right. There will be some challenges you face. I would say Okudzeto should have a listening ear. He should sit down and see where they think he is wrong, if he feels that he is wrong and he can do something better. Because in one or two cases too, it's also negotiated well. So I wouldn't have much to say. I'll say that they've stated their case. I believe that the minister should listen. He should sit down with them, see where some things can be corrected. Then we go on from there.
But Alfred, this is where I have a bit of a challenge. Just one question before I bring you.
Anyone could see is happy about all that.
We're talking about 75 countries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Immediately that information came out, a friend from the States, people started sending me information. Hey, see, what's your friend?
No, I mean, it's cause for concern, no doubt.
Relax.
It's cause for concern.
Let's understand
but here's the
whole
thing.
well.
75 countries. I'm trying to understand really what a strong correlation between. Now, this is the minorities' understanding of why we're added to the list. They're saying that Ablakwa. They said, so ranking member Nana Asafo said, Ghana's inclusion on the United States list of 75 countries facing an indefinite pause in immigrant visa processing was a direct result of what it describes as the minister's immature, confrontational, and diplomatically illiterate conduct. And that, according to the minority, the development undermines blah, 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 blah. The freezing immigrant visa processing threatens. Okay, so he talks about the social. But I'm trying to understand what exactly Ablakwa has done.
Something. Listen to
that got Ghana into the list of 75 countries.
Masa, you've just read the relevant part of the story. One of the most relevant parts of the story.
Right.
The U.S. takes action against 75 countries, including Ghana.
Yes.
Our minority has come to the conclusion that those actions were taken because our minister was reckless and so on. Is it the case that 75 foreign ministers were reckless and immature?
That's what they are saying. They are looking at Ghana as a particular case. And you know Trump can react when you do something.
I thought you didn't want to speak. Now that I'm speaking, they are cutting you.
No, but when you say things that, I mean...
Please,
okay, no, you finish.
You know. So you say that 75 countries, for want of a better word, have been sanctioned. But in our particular case, it was because of the immaturity and recklessness of our foreign minister. What about the 74 other countries?
Okay. There could be 74 other
but that they don't know.
They don't know.
There could be 74 other different
So it means that the U.S. could take those actions not in response to recklessness and immaturity. That's an admission.
True.
Unless you want to say that for all the 74 other countries, their ministers were like Ablakwa, immature, you know, and so on and so on. Hey, what is this? Moro, did you understand what they're saying? And then they go on. And then they talk about the principle of reciprocity.
Yes.
And don't forget,
you do me, I do you.
The principle of reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Hold on.
Just use this for that.
That is a fundamental principle in diplomatic relations.
Right.
Everywhere in the world. Ghana applies that under Ablakwa's stewardship as Minister of Foreign Affairs, and hell breaks loose. This This is a fundamental principle in international diplomacy. What did he do? Members of parliament went to Israel. Israel arrested them. Ghanaian members of parliament went to Israel. Israel arrested them. You understand? Subjected them to degrading treatment. Members of parliament. And a section of our parliament can hold a press conference and say, we shouldn't have retaliated. My goodness. What kind of parliamentarians are these? They are not even ready to defend their own dignity. It is not like I went to Israel and I was harassed. So members of parliament and an official government delegation were arrested, were humiliated, and so on. And Ghana took action. Indeed, what was Israel's reaction? Israel quickly came for a settlement.
Yeah.
Israel quickly came for a settlement. How is that detrimental to the interests of Ghana? And then, if you read the statement very carefully, it is clear that they are also referring to the statement which Ghana issued, in condemnation of the kidnapping of Nicolas Maduro, president of Venezuela. It is obvious that that is one of their beefs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Moro, the African Union issued a statement which said in clear language that what the Trump administration had done was in violation of international law. The African Union statement is not different from the statement issued by Ghana. So, Okudzeto Ablakwa and the minority which held the press conference, which of them is reckless and irresponsible? They wanted Ghana to fight the AU. You understand? Not just that. The Organization of African Trade Union Unity, OATU, issued a much harsher statement than Ghana's foreign ministry. Not just that. CARICOM, the Alliance of Caribbean Nations, issued a very strongly worded statement. You want us to be out of step with that? Britain, the Prime Minister of Britain, emphasized the point that what Donald Trump had done was in violation of international law. Russia issued a strong statement claiming that what Donald Trump had done was in violation of international law. China issued a similar statement. Did you read the statement which was issued and signed by the Foreign Minister of Namibia? So this minority, where have they been all these years? They don't even read statements. They don't read statements from the AU. They don't read statements from CARICOM. They are not watching what Russia's position is. They are not watching what China's position is. Unbelievable. This yesterday, Macron, the French president, spoke at Davos yesterday, and you can check. Macron is saying, in reference to the behavior of Trump, that the world should ready itself to fight against new imperialism and new neocolonialism.
True.
This is Macron.
And it's in relation to the Greenland issue.
Exactly. This is Macron. This is Macron yesterday.
Yeah.
So our minority is actually on the extreme right of Macron.
Yeah.
What a minority. An African state, Ghana, which led the struggle for national independence and so on. And the minority wants us to become a doormat for Donald Trump. What minority is this? I'm so disgusted by this press conference. If you listen to the statement very carefully, this minority would have been very happy if at the time of the commission of genocide in Ghana, Ghana has stood side by side with Israel and become an embarrassment and so on. What are the principles that the minority is upholding in this matter? I'm so disgusted by this press conference. Why? What has the foreign ministry done today, which is in violation of Ghana's foreign policy? Of course, if you look at the history of the minority, you may forgive them. you may even understand them. Because I was a little boy in 1969 or 1970, at the height of apartheid rule, when the Progress Party government fought against the whole of Africa for insisting on sanctions against apartheid.
Okay.
I will not forget this. Indeed, it took Mr. Victor Wusu, who was then foreign minister of the Buzi administration, to stand up against his own government and to say that this is embarrassing and that we have to toe the line that Africa is towing. You understand? Perhaps you can also understand that during the reign of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo, you saw the video of his meeting with Anthony Blinken.
Yeah.
When he was virtually telling Anthony Blinken that he needed US assistance to go and fight Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of foreign policy you want for Ghana? Don't embarrass yourself. This is Ghana. This is Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. Stop playing poodle to the United States of America and so on. Why? When Maduro was kidnapped, in less than 24 hours, there were mass demonstrations in 75 cities in the United States of America. Less than 24 hours after the abduction of Maduro, 75 cities in the United States of America mobilized themselves against the action that their president has taken. Please, stop this.
We'll take a break.
Why? We are talking about the president. Masa, we are talking about the president.
No, I'll bring you after the break.
We are talking about the president of the United States of America, who has publicly declared his intention to take over Canada.
Yeah.
And to have Canada as the 52nd state of the United States of America.
Yeah.
One. We are talking about the president of the United States of America, who is openly talking about annexing Greenland, which is part of Denmark, which is part of NATO. We are talking about the president of the United States of America, who is instructing countries not to do business with China and Russia, or he will take action against them and so on. And you want our foreign ministry to be what? To be docile? My goodness, what are you talking about?
And then we can move on to some other issues.
You see, sometimes once you are doing these arguments,
right,
some could get right, some would be wrong.
Okay.
But it's very hurting to hear Ankwesi calling the minority reckless and other names. I don't think it's right.
Okay.
Let's even assume, without even knowing, let's assume that. Let's assume that.
Okay, please go ahead.
And
yeah, let's even assume. Yeah.
Let's assume that they might even have made a mistake.
Okay.
Is that why you call them reckless? When, like I started earlier on, I said, if even Okudzeto has erred in whatever he did or said, it's just nice to call him and sit down with him, because we all learn on the job. In that same way, if you feel that, the minority is saying things that are not in tune, you don't insult them for that, calling them reckless and everything. I don't think it's right. We are working to build a country. Sometimes you get some correct, sometimes you get some wrong. But that doesn't mean it should now turn into name calling and everything. I don't think it's right. It will not help the building of this country. You need opposition to sometimes check some of the things you are doing. That doesn't mean that it's every time that opposition will come in to say A or say B. Sometimes they talk behind closed doors. Sometimes they work in unity to make sure that everything that is going on works in the interest and the best interest of the country. So let's work together.
Okay.
But don't let us start now accusing and calling names because you are not in line or you are not in tune with what they are saying.
Okay.
They may have a point for saying that.
Okay.
It could be good, it could be bad.
Okay.
But I would advise that whatever it is,
okay,
they should sit down.
Okay.
He's a ranking member on the foreign affairs.
Okay.
We should sit down with the foreign affairs minister.
Okay.
Let's see how we can work together. The foreign affairs minister is quite young, So he will not get everything right. He will get some right, he will get some wrong. Maybe he knew on what position he took that step.
Okay.
It wouldn't definitely come from him alone. It would be from the president and from the cabinet. So sometimes some of these things, let's just see how we can go around it to all work together to rule this country.
Right, Ogozi.
To be honest with you, I don't recall using the word
Reckless. Okay.
But if I did, it would be justified. And
I thought you were coming to say that, sorry
Don't
for
think
maybe
what I'm
using that.
saying. No,
I should think sometimes. I'm going to say, I don't think you would like anybody to call you
Can I
names.
explain?
No, I don't think it's right.
You
Two
don't
wrongs,
want me to
two
speak.
wrongs don't make a right, Uncle Kwesi. Whether
You don't want me
they've
to
made
speak
a
on this
wrong
platform.
or they've made a right decision, I don't think it's right, Uncle Kwesi.
Let me
You don't call the biggest opposition party who has seats in parliament and they are doing their work reckless. and
But
lots of things.
what exactly is wrong with the use of the word reckless?
No, you know what reckless
Please,
is? That is, they don't even think before they do anything they are doing.
In fact, the minority...
And the names and things that they use.
Let me read to you what the minority has said about a black
I
man.
said two wrongs don't make a right.
Okay. All right.
That is what I stated.
But can I explain?
And I stated that some of these things they should sit down.
That's fine.
And judge behind
That's fine.
closed doors.
Let Uncle Kwesi explain what he meant earlier.
You see, if I said that the minority was reckless,
Okay.
I would be right.
Okay. Why?
I've listened to the Secretary General of the United Nations, Guterres. What does he say? He says that a breakdown of international law and the rules-based order could lead to global anarchy. This is the Secretary General.
Right.
I'm sure all of you have heard commentary about how if international law is set aside and the rule-based order is destroyed, we could be heading towards a thermonuclear war. You understand? Now, if people support the breaking down of the rule-based order, if they subvert international law and so on, we could be heading towards this thermonuclear war. Now listen, just the United States of America and Russia have enough nuclear weapons to destroy this world as we know it today 10 times over. Imagine, one destruction is enough. One destruction will leave nothing. But they have the power to destroy this world 10 times over. If you look at Asia, India, and I think Pakistan have nuclear weapons. North Korea has nuclear weapons. You understand? Israel in West Asia has nuclear weapons and so on. Look at this situation. So if you have a foreign minister who is saying that let's be careful, let's preserve the international order so that we don't break out into a thermonuclear war, and you issue such a statement about the foreign minister, which clearly shows that you believe that the international order should be broken down, are you not reckless in the extreme? Are you not reckless in the extreme? Is it insulting to describe this as recklessness? Something which can destroy our planet, can destroy our world. Is that not recklessness? If that is not recklessness, what can be reckless?
Alfred wants to use,
So I don't
Alfred
recall
wants to use a different word.
I don't recall using the word reckless. But I'm happy that Alfred has supplied me with
It's
the
not only
word.
reckless. You
The
used
appropriate
several
word.
deterioratory words that I don't
Mention
think is
them.
right. Well, what you feel that I said are no good, I should come and mention it on air.
Mention them.
So here's the definition of reckless. We've just dug something out. Reckless means acting without thinking about the risk or consequences, often in a careless or dangerous way.
Acting without thinking.
Without thinking.
Yeah.
About thinking.
Yeah.
The risk
consequences.
or consequences
Yeah.
of an action. You
So
find,
if,
you
they
find that
write, if
insulting.
they write about Okudzeto and they stated it's not only one thing, several things.
Okay.
Whether good or bad.
They also describe Okudzeto as reckless. Read
whether
that
good
statement.
or bad.
Well, he says two
see-
wrongs will not make a right.
That's why he's not
He's
getting
condemned
it.
that too. All right, so let's
That's
make
no-
progress. Let's
that's
make
why he's
progress.
not
So,
getting it. I
Alfred,
don't think it's right.
Alfred, today is the 21st of January, isn't it? So basically, you have 10 more days to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you still Bawumia?
Oh, yeah. Always and always.
You're still Bawumia?
Yeah.
Have you heard what Ken has said about him?
What did he say?
It's a video I'm not too comfortable playing, but
you can play it and we'll play what maybe he said and Bawumia has said too.
Okay. Play.
In fact, right, let's watch the two videos. Let's watch the Ken video and the Bawumia. In fact, yesterday Bawumia did a video in reaction to what Ken has said about it.
But let's also listen
Right,
to what he said before Ken said that.
Yeah, there's another video where he, in fact, that's Asante interview, isn't it?
No, he said
Where was
Bawumia
praising
said
Bawumia?
something and he.
He explains it in that video.
Who explains it?
He Ken Agyapong.
In
In that video, he says.
But can we get what Bawumia said before Ken?
Apparently, Bawumia didn't even say anything. Apparently, it was Chairman Sabusu.
Oh, he didn't say anything.
No, apparently Bawumia didn't say anything. Yes.
Unless Ghanaians.
Yes. But we'll play that video shortly. But if you look at the papers today, there's Kwabena Agyapong. He's unveiled 6-pillar policy. He held a news conference yesterday. And we want to be fair to all the aspirants. So otherwise, Uncle will come after us. He taught us journalism, so we have to be fair. So Kwabena Agyapong unveiled 6-pillar policy. Daily guide. I'll read that. And then you have another prayer, a very good friend, who says, be a part of Bawumia's imminent victory. So as far as it's concerned, it's a done deal for Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia. So
it's not over till it's over.
I'll start with the the Kwabena Agyapong unveiled 6-pillar policy. And then whilst we're waiting to play the two videos, one is from Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia and one from Ken Agyapong. Now, this one says that Ebenezer K. Amponsa, who is a reporter with the Daily Guide, he says that flag bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party, Kwabena Agyapong, yesterday unveiled what he described as a 6-pillar policy plan aimed at addressing the challenges facing the country when selected as the party's flag bearer. Speaking at a press conference yesterday in Accra to unveil his 6-pillar policy plan towards transforming the country, the former General Secretary of the NPP said the country must pause to reflect whether democracy has delivered the expected benefits for citizens. He pointed to rising graduate unemployment, poverty, weak public systems, and the existential threat posed by illegal mining, galamsey, noting that the country has not created enough hope with its politics. Mr. Agyapong proposed comprehensive land reform, including transparent compensation frameworks and streamlined land title registration to unlock capital, reduce litigation, and boost agricultural productivity in this Pillar 1 policy plan. And it goes on and on and on and on. It's a lot to read. I'm not sure I'll be able to read it all.
Just the 6 main points.
Well, I just read one to you. I don't know whether you want to take.
We just want the head. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe that.
But I thought I just read one. I was going to the second one.
We have 20 minutes. We
don't have all day. That's the challenge. We don't have all
day. If you can just get the titles of the 6 points.
Okay. I say in summary.
Yes, in summary.
Well, unfortunately, the paper doesn't summarize it.
Okay, no problem.
The paper doesn't. So, Pillar 1, right? He says that
land title.
Yes, it's so comprehensive land reform, including transfer, blah blah blah.
Okay, Pillar 2.
Now, Pillar 2 focuses on strict enforcement of spatial planning. You know, he's an engineer, so he likes to talk about these things. Spatial planning, building, and environmental regulations. Zero tolerance for indiscipline and corruption, with the aim of changing the challenges faced by residents in urban centers.
That's Pillar 3.
Now, let me look at Pillar 3. He's calling for an end to waste, and that his administration would introduce rigorous value money audits in public procurement and rationalize government expenditure. Pillar 4, restoring meritocracy and professionalism in public service. He pledges to end political patronage in the civil and public services. He's also proposing to downsize government's cabinet ministers, supported by deputies and regional ministers.
Is that Pillar 5?
And then let me look at Pillar 5, the final pillar. Let me look at the final pillar. So he said he will simplify national trade license system, and that would formalize the informal sector to reduce excessive taxation, while artisans, traders, and small-scale entrepreneurs are empowered with legal protection, access to credit, and incentive to broaden the tax base fairly. The final pillar, which the flag bearer hopeful described as empowering creative arts and reigniting sports, he believes will strengthen the creative sector. Now, it will reignite the creative sector.
What was
That's the final one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I just read.
It's to reignite.
Yes, to reignite. So as far as it's concerned, it's dead. So the final pillar empowering creative arts, and reigniting sports, he believes would strengthen the creative arts and sports sectors. Now, Dr. Prayer is also saying that be a part of Bawumia's imminent victory. I'm doing all of this because I'm waiting for the videos for us to play so we can continue with this.
We don't play, we can go on.
So we can continue with our conversation. Be a part of Bawumia's imminent victory. I'm not Dr. Prayer to MPP delegates. The Minority Chief Whip and Member of Parliament in Sawam for Sawame Doejiri, Mr. Frank Anodon Prayer has urged MPP delegates to be a part of Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia's victory by voting massively for the former Vice President in the 31st January 2026 presidential primary. According to him, Dr. Bawumia is firmly on course to win the party's internal presidential race. Mr. Anodon made the call on Monday, January 19, while addressing party supporters and delegates in the Bosomche constituency in the Ashanti region, ahead of the contest that will elect a flag bearer for the 2028 general elections. Now, in all of this, yesterday we also read in the papers that the party's council of elders are meeting the aspirants again, and that they're supposed to be signing a certain pact. And the religious bodies, the Christian Council of Ghana, all of them are going to be there, Peace Council, sign a pact that when you lose, you won't create any problem. You know, that kind of thing. But before that, we also know there have been some meetings, you know, to deal with what they call intemperate language, you know, stop personal attacks and so on. But does it look like some of the aspirants are listening? You know, I don't know what. Yes.
Where are the videos?
No, we'll play the videos.
No, they are not coming. So
right is working on. Right. The videos are supposed to. We played them yesterday. I don't know why they're not in. They are not here.
They won't be here.
Anyway, you go ahead. Let's look at your general thoughts about how the party is preparing.
The party is doing all it can to make sure that there's some decorum within the campaign until the next 10 days and everything. They signed a peace pact in the last election, before the last election, but Alan walked away nicely and started doing his own thing and forming his own party. So I really don't know whether this peace pact would really help or get anywhere, because with some of the use of the languages that are coming out, where even one person hasn't said anything and then you start insulting him publicly and saying that you shouldn't vote for this person because he's this and he's that and he's that. Especially knowing very well that one of the things that came out was the way you say things about people, and the NDC took it up as a campaign message. Somewhere they didn't even campaign at all. They just play your recording and it becomes the message. One would expect that in this particular election, you would relax and then tone down on certain things you say. Because what hurts most is when you finish saying it and you come out and say, oh, I'm sorry I said that because I didn't know, they told me. And one bright example,
has he apologized? Has Ken apologized?
He's done that. But you remember he came out, he's apologized to Nanado, he's apologized to Mahama, he's apologized to other people that he's...
Okay, so please let's watch these two videos. It's very important. They will set the context for this conversation. Let's watch these videos.
I've never seen a liar like our former flag bearer on earth. He's a liar. Say, Edubuahin, one contested because na oya. This man is a liar. Today, I tell you, he's a liar. You shouldn't vote for a liar. A man who is lying to have power. Wow. Won't hear the history. Edubuahin, occurred 1992. And we winning. And now, occurred general election. And we lose. 1996, the former black flag bearer, Ejine Kumasi, Kasena Edubuahin Yare. Akufo contested Edubuahin in 1996, and Akufo BT Edubuahin, Edibeye flag bearer. He was fighting to go on the post, and they did not agree. And we contested. I will pay power. Obi abedi o mining now to be detro a distorted history. Say, Mesra Mamontu Abama.
Nancy, a few days ago, na yeti anomabi ebe kanchire say 2 weeks here aka say ye ko election. Omo di strategy bi eba. Omo ni ye nkrofo ye bi. Omo se omo be didi matem sa. Omo be twantro egu mi so 2 weeks na wachi mi enu a ebe. Enti mu nyina munye alert. Mu beti nsem bebre enye nokre. Omo pese omo susa mo adwen. Omo be didi matem sa mamomfi omo. Mongo na mongo to abano emami enyasa mongo na mongo to abano Mami. We are Yerkui, and yet attempt DDA competition na Yerko. Omo say Omunim say Omo campaign no tone suyum. Enti Omo say if you miss the ball, don't miss the man. And enti na Omo de attempt DDA eba me hono. Mesume ifi Omo. Ye be focus akodi inkunim January 31st, 2026. Na Osha asema unka yempo omude beshe wenum edidi watem so aka se uye koshini we mu nyina ade a omo beye ne so me fi omo.
Alfred, what's happening?
So as I was saying, the party will do its best.
Okay.
But it behoves on the people who want to become the leaders of the party to also show leadership. They should show maturity.
Yeah.
They should show decorum. Sometimes your followers will go and say certain things. Definitely, from where I come from, I know from every now and then people are called and reprimanded. You won't come and say it on air that I've gone to reprimand this one. So you realize that sometimes when people go and say certain things, they now come and start toning down and start, going a certain line. It's about the leader you present. I believe that when you are following a leader, look at his traits and behave that way. That is the message you are sending out there. A leader who respects all, a leader who thinks about all and brings us love and ideas to share with everyone. It's not about him. It's not his personal issue. It's about making sure that we all do it and do it right. Yesterday, someone was even talking to me and he said, listen, I don't know what your problem is. Because as we sit here today, this dollar that is being rectified, that is getting along very well, the fuel and everything. When they are calling, they don't call Professor Nana Opukajima, they call Ato Forson. Even though, yes, one will say that, and Uncle will say that it's Nanado who said he was bringing an economist. When you realize that in the first term of Nanado, every time they were going to read the budget, you had the vice president, you had members of the EMT following him to parliament. In the second term, steady and see, they were never with him. He went alone. So it gives you another message, which I'll leave it for another day.
Okay.
But what I'll say is that if we all treat that Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia is a good economist, he's a fine gentleman, he is good at his job, let us give him the chance to prove it to all Ghanaians that he knows what he's about, he knows his worth, and all he can do is to put it down for everybody to see and judge him on that stead instead of judging him on someone else's stead. Okay. It doesn't help. It doesn't take us anywhere. Okay. With the Kennedy outburst and everything, the only thing I can say is that all candidates should manage themselves from now to the election time. Okay. Because after all this, when we finish, we don't just need to be seen as united. We need to unite, we need to work hard, and we need to be poised for the next election. Okay. And we can only do that when you don't step on someone's toe so hard that it becomes difficult, that even when you apologize, the person watches you with two eyes and says that, hey, I have to be careful with this person because I don't know when he can go and do this against me. So I'll leave it at that and I'll say that we are ready for 31st and definitely the party will
with all the comments that have been made so far, do you think the reconciliation is possible?
Well, my first comment is this. After 8 years as Vice President of the Republic and Chairperson of the Economic Management Team, you're still telling us that we should give Bawumia a chance to prove himself. What chance?
In his capacity as president.
And then, Alfred, sometimes you say some things, and I'm sitting here and I'm cringing. That in the the second term of Akufo Addo, Bawumia and his lieutenants did not accompany Ken Ofori Atta to deliver the budget. Well, what are you trying to say? That Bawumia and his people did not approve the economic policy of the Akufo Addo government, and he stayed there for a whole 4 years?
But that's your inference. He didn't say that.
So let him tell us what he meant. Maybe I got him wrong.
Okay.
I'm ready to accept whatever explanation he gives. But he's saying
Time
that
is not our best friend.
Bawumia did not follow him. So, you see, yesterday, I read the newspapers, and I was completely dazed when I saw reports that contestants in the internal primaries of the NPP
Yes.
are being asked to sign a peace pact.
Yes.
I was wondering, the contest in the NPP has gotten to the level of rival Talibans fighting for power, or to the level of the Sudanese civil war. Peace pact. Hey.
But haven't you heard the things that are happening in Kokasi?
And they said that they would not just sign a peace pact too. National Peace Council representatives will be there.
Yes.
Former heads of states will be. Have you seen the list of people
Yes.
who witnessed the signing of the peace pact? So what will happen in Sudan?
Is there anything wrong with that?
If your internal contest in one political party in Ghana, they are going to sign a peace pact under all these conditions, what will the fighters in Sudan be signing?
So we shouldn't sign any peace pact. We hear all
the
this
Afghanistan war. How did it end? Peace pact.
We shouldn't sign any peace pact. After hearing what Kennedy said right now, you don't comment about that one.
Oh, that's your question. Answer mine first. What will the fighters in Sudan be signing? And under what circumstances?
They are also signing their own. But we believe that in our party, if things are going this way, we should sign a peace pact.
Master, let's move on.
Why
Let
don't
me
we move on?
Let me use the next 1
for
minute.
the video, and now they brought the video. You don't comment on it.
Let me use the 1 minute
Peace
left.
pact.
Your very good friend Austin Game. He sent a
Yeah.
message.
Austin
Yes.
Gandhi. Oh, how?
He says, "Good morning.
Yes.
Yes, good morning. Honorable Ablakwa was openly disliked because his vetting. So the same dislike and hatred for him continues. I think
Because
so
of his
far,
vetting.
the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs has proven to be a worthy foreign minister."
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.